Let's do it. This is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. I am Drake Toll from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff. You turn it on and I'm probably there, doing something, saying something about sports. Let's do it. Let's get up together. Let's get up, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Let's do it. I made the decision that every person in their mid-20s makes, where I got a dog, rescued a dog yesterday. This is dog number 2. And I have mentors that subscribe to the 2-dog rule. Every dog needs a dog friend. The first dog that I had, still have, by the way, not dead, awkward, anxious dog. So I got a therapy dog for the dog, which equates to, and you've done this, I haven't had the kids yet. I will one day. One could hope. But it's as with a dog, as a child, I assume, sleeping is just it's not on the table. So I come to you live. You and I are here together, supporting one another. And I feel like I'm the professor, right, that would start the lecture with something odd, something different, kind of throw you off a bit, keep you entertained. And those were always the big days. You're like, wow, couldn't believe it. Dr. Thompson walked in, and instead of talking about calculus, he gave us a life story. That's how I will begin today. Again, take a seat. It's the Drake Toll Show. We're going to get to John Harbaugh and his landing spot. We're going to talk about whether or not that landing spot could be the Buffalo Bills. Is he waiting to see the teams that lose this weekend and what moves are made to follow his heart of where he goes? Or is Clint Kubiak the real belle of the ball here? Kevin Stefanski, can he help a team win and win now? Tonight, Ole Miss, Miami, the college football playoff. Wes Bryant, Steven Willis will join the show to break that game down. The Pope, something about the Pope helping the Seahawks, and they're a Super Bowl lock because of his holiness. Our idiots of the day, our biggest losers, news across the NFL, namely in coaching changes, and where we'll go from there. But I want to start here. Scott Snyder, close friend of mine. Have you ever seen the Savannah Bananas have the dancing dad bod guys, the male cheerleaders that come out in the little hula skirts and dance around? Scott's one of those guys. He posted on Facebook this morning, and in the wake of me being awake all night, that this was a sober. I wanted to share this with you because I thought, you know what, this is a good way to start the show. As and everybody says this. It's the same way that you go to Texas, you go to New York, California. Every citizen's like, the weather here, man, can't get weirder. Or, oh, wow, Dallas traffic. You could just say that about any city ever. So people say when they say, oh, we're in trying times. I know it's tough times out there. But yes, sometimes you wake up and you're like, you know what? The world could be better. I read this, and it hit me this morning, and I hope it hits you. Scott says, animal rescue is tough. Just prior to Christmas, we were asked to take in a dog named Hot Coco. She'd been on the radar for a couple of weeks. When I first saw her, I knew we needed her. Emaciated body, and nowhere to go for Christmas. We wanted to spoil her, so of course we grabbed her. Hot Coco was around 15 years old, had never lived indoors. Heartworms, hernia, tumor. They brought her home, hopeful meds would work, and they spoiled her for the whole 2 weeks that Scott and his family had her. Yesterday at the follow-up, 3:30, they got the news that nothing a normal vet could do was helping, and that more invasive testing would be needed, so the tough decision was made to cross the Rainbow Bridge. No more suffering, no more pain, medications, poked, prodded, all of it gone. Scott and his family adopted Hot Coco, got her first collar and a name tag, a bag full of Chick-fil-A, and spoiled her for an hour before they said goodbye. They told her to be on the lookout for their old dogs, Duke, Josie, and Allie Bay. She tore through the Chick-fil-A, got to taste chocolate for the first time, wore her collar for the hour. Her tag said silly goose because the heartworms made her honk like one. She wore a smile, wagged her tail to the end, showing love and being loved. She was a good girl and will be missed. These 2 weeks were special, and while the ending wasn't what we wanted, we made the most of the small amount of time we had. She left, but she left knowing she had a family and was surrounded by love and tears of joy because she was in our lives, and tears of sadness because we had to say goodbye so soon. Rest easy, Hot Coco. We'll miss you, silly goose. Good people exist. That's a good reminder. As we go into a conversation for the next 3 hours about people who are fired or people who should be fired, right? It's easy for me to sit in my little home office in Savannah, Georgia, and tell you these human beings should be fired. You say that. You tweet those things. We comment those things on YouTube. We would put those in the fan forums everywhere. That's part of this, right? But sometimes it's good. On a day like Thursday, January 8th, take a step back, say, you know what? These are real human beings. These conversations are hard in their household. They affect their family. Me telling you Aaron Glenn should be fired is probably valid. He should be fired. He shouldn't be the head coach of the Jets. But there are real people behind these things. So I begin your day with that. The message of Scott Snyder and the fact that good people still exist. One of those good people, I do believe, to be John Harbaugh. He has the attention of the Giants. John Harbaugh has the attention of every team, actually, with an opening right now. Number one in the odds to land him, actually minus 150. I'd have to put $150 down to win $100 if he goes to the Giants. The Dolphins, the Atlanta Falcons, Las Vegas Raiders follow suit behind the Giants in what Harbaugh currently has lined up. But he said he will not take an interview until next week. Adam Schefter reported this late last night, not expected to conduct any head coach interviews until at the earliest next Monday. Nick Wright says, also known as, he is smartly waiting to see if the Eagles, Bills, or Packers would fire their coach to hire them if they lose this weekend. You may be playing checkers. John Harbaugh is more than willing to play chess. If the Giants get into a pickle and they cannot decide between Kevin Stefanski or John Harbaugh, and by the way, when Black Monday hit, I'm hearing that pretty immediately Stefanski and the Giants started to cook. They are continuing to cook. But they may string him out 3, 4, 5 days along this process in the hopes of getting John Harbaugh. And at the end of that race, both of those guys are gone. This is like you're buying the Louisiana Purchase if you are the Green Bay Packers or the Buffalo Bills and you want to make a move. I don't think, by the way, that those three should have openings, the Eagles, Bills, or Packers. LaFleur, I believe, will still be the head coach this time Monday for Green Bay. I think the Bills will not make a move from McDermott. And the Eagles just won the Super Bowl with Nick Sirianni. That is not even – if you're an Eagles fan who wants Sirianni fired, I think you're starting with the wrong guy probably on that staff, and it's not going to happen. But this is the Louisiana Purchase. You can go get a legendary coach. And I say legendary because John Harbaugh is a Hall of Famer. If you're a Hall of Famer, you get to have the word legend tabbed beside you. You could go get a legend in this and do it for I think you don't see these kind of names or these guys whose players wax poetic about them that are available all that often, because typically they're in their 17th or 18th season coaching their teams. Thomas Jefferson, you see, he didn't actually want to buy the West. He only wanted to buy New Orleans. And he didn't know what kind of deal he would get. This had to be a happenstance thing. For John Harbaugh to be available for the Bills or for the Eagles or for the Giants, there had to be a big happenstance thing where you say, oh, that's abnormal. The availability of this is abnormal. Jefferson would send James Monroe. He'd go to Paris. Your budget's $10 million. Just buy New Orleans, maybe a bit of Florida. Get out of there. They go in there. New France is having a catastrophe. Napoleon's losing all faith from his constituency. The Haitian Revolution is throwing things out of spin. And there was just the perfume bathtub of Napoleon that he was sitting in when he said, you know what, we just need money. We need cash. Tell the United States they can have the entire Louisiana Purchase, $15 million, 3 cents an acre. It's the greatest deal that the U.S. could have ever signed. Problem was, the U.S. did not have $15 million. So they went to the British and the Dutch, and they said, can we borrow some money? Subsequently, the U.S. would give France, this is my favorite part of the story, I was a history minor in college, the U.S. would give France $15 million, and a lot of that money came from Britain. France would turn around and go to war with Britain. Little did the English know they were paying the French in the war they were fighting against each other. That is once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That is the rarity, the ultimate rarity to have the Louisiana Purchase fall into your lap. And if you are a contender that wants a Super Bowl coach that feels as though I'm not sure if we're getting it done right now in the postseason enough before the window of our MVP caliber quarterback closes. Hello, Buffalo. The inability to win the Super Bowl. Hello, Green Bay. You like Jordan Love? Is he your guy? Obviously, this was the situation for Harbaugh with Baltimore, is he couldn't win in the postseason with Lamar Jackson, couldn't win the Super Bowl, couldn't get to the Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. But I don't know if that's as indicative on John Harbaugh as it is the last 5 to 10 years of just odd circumstances, weird plays, and really heartbreaking losses for fans of Baltimore. If you're a Ravens fan, people don't understand. I as somebody who grew up with a rooting interest for the Dallas Cowboys in possibly the worst era to ever be a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, I can tell you there are fan bases that will point at Baltimore and say, you're so lucky for how you have it. You're so lucky you get to win in the regular season. You're so lucky you get these playoff games and these games that matter the way that they do come winter, come January, come February. But also, dog, what I think we lose in that, you in your car, everybody, you've been a fan of a team that was good in the regular season and then just couldn't win in the playoffs. And weird circumstances continued to happen to put them down. There are those fan bases that everybody thinks, I'd love to be a Ravens fan. I'd love to win all those games. But what does it amount to over the course of 2 decades when you win those games, but when you get to the playoffs, you fall flat on your face? You get to the playoffs and it doesn't work. What does that count for? I don't mind the restart for John Harbaugh. I think it's a good restart for John Harbaugh. I don't think, if you are of the mind that Harbaugh going to Buffalo would be a bad move, if you're of the mind, I don't think you're correct. I don't think you're looking at the situation, understanding how good of a coach John Harbaugh is. And if you're the Giants and you want to contend with Cam Scatterbo when he returns, with Jackson Dart as your quarterback of the franchise, if you're the Dolphins and you want to move on from McDaniel, who's currently under contract, who is still the head coach at the time of recording this show, very hilarious to me, still the head coach at the time of recording this show, and the Dolphins are reportedly interested and in the mix. If you're the Falcons and you want to win now, I'm not sure who Bijan is your win now guy. Your quarterback situation's not great. If you're the Raiders and you want to rebuild, restart, the Titans, you got Cam Ward, man. You went and grabbed that guy as your franchise QB. If you believe in that franchise QB, John Harbaugh's the guy to turn it around. Cleveland, Arizona, I don't see those happening personally. That would be just death, pure death, obituary season. Obituary kind of stuff for John Harbaugh. But for those organizations, you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't take a serious swing at Harbaugh. And if you don't land him, well, my friend Clint Kubiak could be available. Seahawks offensive coordinator, first-year offensive coordinator in Seattle. Giants, Cardinals, Raiders, Falcons have all requested to interview Kubiak for their head coaching vacancies. That comes from Sports Illustrated. He is that hot, fun name, the cool offensive coordinator name. Where will he land? Certainly somewhere, but not before we figure out where John Harbaugh is going to go. That is the name. I gave you my thoughts yesterday on Kevin Stefanski. I do believe that he is one of the best options out there for a team that wants to win now with something different. If you want a Dan Campbell to walk into your program and help you compete, if you are a Cleveland type. If you're Arizona, Stefanski's on the phone. If you are New York Giants, Stefanski's on the phone. You want that guy that can rebuild and win. Reload then and win. I think Stefanski can do that. If you can take the Browns to the playoffs twice, I commend you. You're good enough to be my head coach. Coming up, we have college football today, and not just any college football. It is Ole Miss. It is Miami. They will play in the Fiesta Bowl, in the college football playoff, the winner to the national championship game. I have the inside on who's going to pull off the win tonight. This is the Drake Toll Show.
She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me a case of gone.
Come on, let's do it. Right here, right now. Radio. It killed the video star. But because of YouTube and the modern era of radio requiring pretty much everyone to have a YouTube channel with their radio, video created the radio star? Question mark? I don't know if you watched the NBA last night, but wow. If you did not, it was electric. Raptors 97, Hornets 96. Crazy, incredible game. Celtics lose at home 114 to 110 to the Nuggets. Magic 104-103 over the Nets. Paolo Banchero hits a shot at the buzzer to win it. Thunder have to go to overtime to beat, what? The Jazz? Spurs blew out the Lakers. Steph Curry was in prime form. 30 points last night in a win against the Bucks. And the Trailblazers 103 to 102 fending off the Rockets. The Blazers have been winning games, man. College basketball last night, Vanderbilt and Alabama, great. You're seeing greatness from Arizona and BYU. Arkansas winning against Ole Miss on the road. Clemson upsetting a top 25 team. And then UConn down by like 15 to Providence. They take it to overtime and win 103 to 98. That's just in basketball. That's just hoops. What happened yesterday on the hardwood. You understand that we get the NFL this weekend. We are 48 hours away from the National Football League having playoff games ready to be in front of me. Give me that. The wild card this weekend and into Monday night with Pittsburgh and Houston. And tonight, Ole Miss will take on Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. I'm Drake Toll from the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. You, yes, you, can be on the show as an esteemed guest. 310-840-4910. Call or text 310-840-4910. The story of Ole Miss playing Miami in the college football playoff semifinal begins many years ago. The arena was never meant for them. Butler and VCU, the 2011 Final Four matchup. Do you remember this one? Cinderellas, two Cinderellas, and one of them had to go. A bracket of the broken, as they called it. The mathematical impossibility of two mid-majors meeting as an 11th seed and an 8th seed in the Final Four. Gordon Hayward played for Butler. Analysts had once said that VCU being included in the postseason was a mistake. They were in the first four. They had to run through the first four. They pulled off upsets against Purdue, Georgetown, number 1 seed Kansas. Butler beat Pitt, Wisconsin, Florida. The Goliaths of basketball were going down to two teams that met with the trip to the national championship on the line. Only one Cinderella can go to the ball. Only one big moment can end it in victory for either VCU or Butler. 70-62 was the final. The Butler Bulldogs, Gordon Hayward, go to the national championship. They themselves were a shot away from winning it all against Duke. Brad Stevens was the head coach of that team, by the way. Two mid-major squads duking it out. Path of destruction for VCU. They beat USC by 13 in that first 4 game. They were mowing through people with the defense. This year, well, yeah, I mean, Miami's not a proverbial 11 seed in basketball. Certainly Ole Miss, to call them an underdog would be crazy, right? No, I don't think so. This is the football version of VCU and Butler. And you can push back on that all you want and say that is disrespectful. That does a brand disservice to Ole Miss and Miami. Don't you know this is an Ole Miss team that won a lot of national championships in the 60s? Don't you know this is a Miami team that won a lot of national championships in the 80s, early 2000s, dating back to Howard Schnellenberger? But in the last 15 years, in the last now 20 years for Miami, what you need to understand is the haves of college football have trumped the have-nots by an aggressive amount. And somehow, Ole Miss and Miami, the category of haves is too exclusive to include those two teams. 10 years ago, there was no way either of these schools would compete for a national championship. The remodel of college football is allowing a Miami team who lost to SMU and Louisville, far and away the worst 2 losses that you'll find of any team still left in college football. That Miami team, because of the playoff format, because of the tournament format, will have a shot to win the whole entire thing, and they can continue that tonight. Because what we did with college football is we took what was really cool and great and what all of us loved and said, hey, let's condense this to where only about 10 teams can compete. And honestly, Ole Miss and Miami weren't in the category. The only team I would consider of the top 4 right now to be in the category of the top 10 to compete, Oregon. Oregon's been here no matter their head coach. Oregon's done this. Oregon's been to 2 national championships recently. It's Alabama's world. It's LSU. They can win national championships. Ohio State, Michigan, they can win national championships. But that list has been very small. Clemson, they're up there. And now we will see one of these 4 teams win the entire thing, and it will look great for college football because it's somebody new. I don't have to deal with Georgia being at the top, Alabama being at the top, LSU being at the top, Ohio State, Michigan being there. Now it gets to be somebody new. And for me, that's exciting. That's entertaining. You know, viewership, by the way, this is crazy. Viewership from the Rose Bowl this year broke records. Indiana, Alabama. I was told, and by the way, it's an Indiana team, the dark horse of this whole jazz, even as the number 1 team in America. The dark horse, because no one understands in America that Indiana has football. The casual viewer is just now finding that out. They broke records playing Alabama in the Rose Bowl. America tuned in for this. But I was told by the talking heads, I was told by the analysts on the major TV networks, I was told by the radio hosts, I was told by the SEC fan, well, you know, if you take Georgia out of the conversation here, the viewership's going to go down. People are watching for the dogs. And that's the rhetoric, right? Well, what we wanted to turn college football into is just this endless repeat of Ohio State playing Georgia. That's why the Big Ten has USC and Rutgers now. We're going to consolidate this and allow the best matchups to be in our conference, even if it kills college football. That's been the mentality. And now tonight, the world will watch the Fiesta Bowl. The world will watch Ole Miss and Miami. And it's going to rock. The Miami defense is going to be the difference in this game. They are 3.5-point favorites. Ole Miss will have Charlie Weiss Jr., their offensive coordinator, who's also the offensive coordinator at LSU. Ole Miss will be without multiple members of the offensive staff who coached last week in the playoff, and then Georgia lost to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin fully expected Ole Miss to lose to Georgia, and then he could have his entire staff back at LSU. Ole Miss wins that game, and I don't think Lane was rooting for Ole Miss, by the way, because all those players have spited him. All those players have told him, they said, Lane, we're going to go ahead and hang out over here with our good buddies at Ole Miss. And when that occurred, Lane Kiffin said, fine, then I'll take your coaches. You go compete in the playoff tonight without your coaches. So the world roots for Ole Miss, I think. There's a big piece of this that you should be rooting for Ole Miss because of the way Lane Kiffin has put them in a negative situation or a spot to lose. But you can root for Old Yeller as much as you want, and he still dies. Miami's the better of these two teams. Miami will get the best of Ole Miss tonight because of their defensive line. They've allowed 17 points combined to Ohio State and Texas A&M. One of them was a true road game over the course of this postseason. Give me the Canes when they square off against Ole Miss tonight. Trinidad Chambliss is good. But Carson Beck has been really solid too. The streets forget Carson Beck. The Ole Miss offense, number 11 most efficient passing offense in the country, no doubt, with Miami has the number 18 passing defense in America. Miami has the number 10 passing offense in America. Miami has the number 2 starting field position in the country. Number 9 third down success. Number 5 average third down distance, all on defense. Their defense is that good. They will force you in a bad starting field position. They will maul you on third down. They will put you in a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 situation. And I don't know if Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss, while it will work, there will be 3rd and 9 where Chambliss sheds a sack, throws for 15 yards. But I don't think it's going to happen the entire night to the point where Ole Miss is able to win. Miami's suffocating and it's too much. Canes by a field goal. I know it's 3.5. It's tough. That hook sucks. The hook always gets you. I've got Miami. We got David on the line in Houston. Let's take it out there. David, what's going on? You're on the Drake Toll Show.
Drake, my man. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well, David. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah, your program is not heard on in Houston, Texas. So that's why I represent Westwood One Sports Radio in the Houston, Texas market. So, man, it's always good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, David. Excited for this weekend, for Monday, for the Texans Steelers. What's your leaning in that game? I'm sure you've got the Texans pegged to win, but how do they do it?
Oh, man. That Houston Texans defense is a special defense. I am sick and tired of hearing other defenses. The Denver Broncos defense is this, and the Denver Broncos defense is that, and the New England Patriots defense is this, and the New England Patriots defense is that, and the Seattle Seahawks defense is this, and the San Francisco 49ers defense, and the LA Rams defense. Bull crap. Our defense, the Houston Texans defense, is a special, elite, Super Bowl caliber defense. And I don't care about the NFL nation out there. Don't care. I love this team. I love the Houston Texans. And I love them so much that I love DeMeco Ryans. I love his passion for coaching this football team. I love C.J. Stroud. Don't get me wrong. C.J. Stroud may make mistakes. C.J. Stroud, they criticize him in cold weather games. He played in college football in cold weather games.
True.
He adapted to the NFL game playing in cold weather games. I don't care what people tell me, giving me a crap. He don't play well in cold weather games in NFL. Don't give me that. Turn around and get out of my face with that crap. C.J. Stroud is a man among boys. C.J. Stroud is a playmaker. He's a potential playmaker in my eyes. And that's one of the reasons why I predict that the Houston Texans not only will be in the Super Bowl, they will win the Super Bowl. Hey, Drake, man, I love you. Hope to hear from you and talk to you hopefully tomorrow.
Yep.
Have a great day, and remember, smile. It makes a difference.
Love it. Thanks for the call,
Thank you,
David, from Houston on the Drake Toll Show. You, sitting in your car. 310-840-4910 can do exactly what David did. 310-840-4910. and make the case for why you also think the Houston Texans can win the Super Bowl. Good defense, man. David's right. If there are a million fans of David, I am one. If there's one fan of David, I am he. And if there are no fans of David, I am dead. That guy, his passion for the Texans, love it. 310-840-4910. Can they get it done on the road in Pittsburgh? That is the question. They're maybe the hottest team in the NFL right now, but not enough people are talking about them. Kevin Harlan had plenty to say about them when he joined the Drake Toll Show a couple of days ago, and we will continue to dissect all that Kevin gave us about the postseason and how he sees it shaking out. He believes in Pittsburgh, but he also believes that the Houston Texans defense, exactly as David said, is good enough to win many games, go on a run this postseason. Around the corner, yeah, biggest losers of the day. And there are many, many losers today. This is the Drake Toll Show.
We love sports. We love to laugh.
Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been some
app.
Good morning. It's you, it's me, it's Westwood One Sports, it's the Westwood One Sports app. Your AM radio, your FM radio, Sirius XM 375. This is the Drake Toll Show. I am Drake Toll. If you make this your first listen every day, if we get to wake up every day together, don't make it weird. If we get to wake up every day together, hang out, you know how fun that is, the beauty this is of being a part of Westwood One. You remember it. Remember that Chargers-Broncos game? I think Denver was down 28 at halftime. And the Broncos rallied to win it. Peyton Manning Broncos. This is like 2013. Producer of the Drake Toll Show, Addie Bates, is just vigorously typing away over there trying to find it. That Broncos-Chargers game, I remember it was Thursday night, I believe. Maybe Sunday night. Listening to it on Westwood One. Little red radio I had next to my bed. And it had all these busted up speakers. But through the crackle, 103.7 The Buzz, Little Rock, Arkansas, you could hear it. Westwood One, Kevin Harlan. Well, now Westwood One has 24/7 radio. Like that, just the name alone, it says something. Westwood One used to send these little miniature radios. This is a crazy poll. Would send these miniature radios to the Super Bowl, and people inside the venue could bring them in with these disposable headphones and listen to the game on Westwood One as they walked in. That rocks. Dudes rock again. Here's a piece of NFL lorigami before we go into our obituaries. The last time the Bears beat the Packers in the playoffs was the Sunday after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Cheapest available tickets. This can be an honorary first obituary. Rest in peace to your wallet if you want to go to the Bears-Packers game on Saturday. Cheapest ticket to get into Houston at Pittsburgh, $165. And from there, it's $165 to $199 for every wild card game that doesn't feature Green Bay and Chicago. So you can get in for under $200 to every wild card game that is not at Soldier Field. That game, the minimum ticket to sit on the roof, $448. The Packers and the Bears are going to play a postseason game. The Bears do not win those. They have not since Pearl Harbor. This is an incredible opportunity for the Bears to do something for the first time in 80 years and beat the Packers, and they should. And they should, based on the way I saw Green Bay end the season versus the way I saw Chicago play. Caleb Williams and the offense clicking and the defense coming along. Year one of the rest of our lives for the Chicago Bears, who are in the postseason hosting the Packers. It's time. Biggest losers of the day. It's not obituaries. It's biggest losers. Biggest losers. There will be plenty of obituaries to do later. Time for our first biggest loser of the day. Rick Carlisle, who actually is a winner. This is a really weird way to do our losers of the day. But he's a winner so much so, 999 victories in his career as an NBA head coach. The only problem is he's been stuck at 999, the head coach of the Pacers, since December 8th. We are now a month into Rick Carlisle having to sit there at 999 wins, 13 straight losses, waiting for number 1,000. The funniest part of this to me would be the PR intern for the Pacers or the PR director who has just been sitting on that Rick Carlisle 1,000 graphic. That graphic is a month old now. The graphic they put on the video board, they bring the ball out, says 1,000, Rick Carlisle, the photos, the stage, the confetti. 13 consecutive games. That's been the plan. We got it ready. Fire that graphic off as soon as the buzzer sounds and we win it. 1,000 for the big guy. Haven't gotten it yet. Stuck at 999. Who will stop the rain? Drake Toll Show, second biggest loser of the day. Matt Eberflus. Even George Pickens is out on Matt Eberflus. Cowboys released a graphic yesterday. It says, the Dallas Cowboys have released defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Having known Matt Eberflus for a decade now, we have tremendous respect and appreciation for him as a coach and a person. I mean, tremendous respect after what I just saw. Tremendous respect? After reviewing and discussing the results of our defensive performance this season, though, it was clear that change is needed. This is the first step in a process that we will continue to review as it applies to reaching our much higher expectations. That's from, of course, Jerry Jones. If you see the Cowboys poster graphic, it's Jerry Jones. Who liked that graphic immediately? George Pickens. Who did not die? George Pickens had a very good year this year. If you're a Cowboys fan or watched the Cowboys at all, you enjoyed George Pickens' play. Is he a little crazy? Possibly insane? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But good at football. Biggest losers. People without money. Myself included. The poor. We're going to go after the poor here. That's always a really good idea to help relate to the masses. Here's why, though. Here's why we're all just big losers in the game of life. Mark Cuban is funding NIL for Indiana. He's IU's wealthiest alumnus. This is from Front Office Sports. Made another donation, yet another donation to the college football playoff run for Indiana. He said already committed for this portal. Yeah, here's the deal. If you've got $1 billion, $1.2 billion, you can just make your favorite college football team the best college football team in America. I personally don't have that kind of dough stashed away, so we all are the biggest losers for not being able to make our team good. We live in an era. Do you understand? We live in an era where one stupid rich donor, where if Warren Buffett is a fan of your team, Bill Gates, his current girlfriend is a Baylor alum, could transform the Baylor Bears tomorrow. We live in an era where if you're rich, you can just buy your favorite college football team. Put all the players you want, NFL caliber players you want on the team, and have them just go win national championships over and over and over, and you sit high and mighty in your box and sip champagne. Mark Cuban invested in Indiana. The rich get richer. Biggest loser. Current franchises with openings who want John Harbaugh. This is what's being thrown around, man. Adam Schefter, Harbaugh's not expected to interview until next week. Fox, Nick Wright, waiting to see if the Eagles, Bills, or Packers would fire their coach. Hire him. If you're John Harbaugh, you absolutely want the opportunity that is win now. You want the Super Bowl caliber roster. You want a Super Bowl caliber quarterback or guys like Josh Allen who we think could be Super Bowl caliber in the right situation. And you could argue he's had the right situation every year in Buffalo and failed to get it done. But that's a place that comes open for John Harbaugh. If there's legitimate interest for John Harbaugh to go to Pittsburgh, come on now. Talk to him. Come on, that'd be crazy. That would flip the NFL on its head and probably be a pretty fun move for John Harbaugh. The last biggest loser, Lane Kiffin. I think he's been the biggest loser or the idiot of the day every day of the Drake Toll show so far. But it's just so applicable right now. There's a quarterback at Washington, DeMond Williams, who could also be the biggest loser, by the way, who decides to enter the transfer portal like 4 days after signing a contract with Washington that says, I'm coming back next year. He signs for $4 million. Imagine an NFL player signing for $4 million and then 4 days later being like, nope, just kidding. I'm a free agent. Signed a contract. Washington said, well, you can't enter the transfer portal. You signed this. So they're suing him. I wouldn't want the kid back. I don't want that kid leading my football team. That's not going to go well. I think it's money. It's a money game at this point for Washington. It's what they want. And you're wondering why is Lane Kiffin in this the biggest loser? All sources are pointing back to Lane Kiffin being the highest bidder right now and the offer for DeMond Williams out of the transfer portal to go to LSU, be their starting quarterback in the SEC next year. Worst part of this whole deal, and I'll cover this a little bit more in depth later in the show, Washington soccer player died of cancer. He made this announcement during her funeral. Made this announcement during her funeral. Yeah, not good, huh? While his entire team and coaching staff were at the service. Not good at all. Lane Kiffin found out this news while he was courtside at an LSU basketball game sitting with another prospect, Sam Levitt. You're wondering, is it big money that's ruining college football? The TV networks? Nah. It's just Lane Kiffin being Lane Kiffin, man. Pat Ford said the two biggest ongoing messes in college football have one thing in common. Surprise, it's Lane Kiffin. One of them is Damon Williams leaving Washington for LSU, if he does, and if Washington can come to some sort of a deal. The other Lane Kiffin thing that he's doing is not allowing his coaches to, and sure, they are his assistants at LSU. He leaves Ole Miss and says, if you all don't get on this plane, you don't have a job. Yikes. Then he gets to LSU, realizes the public backlash is crazy, and says, you know what, fine. Take 6 coaches, figure it out, try to win a playoff game, I don't know, whatever. They beat Tulane. He knew they would. Lane's fully expecting them to lose to Georgia. After they lose to Georgia, the nightmare is over. No one's talking about it anymore. He can be the head coach at LSU. They upset Georgia. Now he's like, oh, well, I'm jealous that you upset Georgia without me, so give me my assistants back. Doesn't really care about the kids. Certainly doesn't put the kids number one in those decisions. Give me Lane Kiffin. Another opportunity for him in 2026 to be our biggest loser for what he's doing with Damon Williams and the Ole Miss coaching staff. You, people who can't afford to buy your favorite college football team a roster, are our biggest loser. Lane Kiffin, you're in that conversation. Franchises that won John Harbaugh that have an opening right now, you might also be a biggest loser. If somebody big opens up their doors to Harbaugh. Rick Carlisle, sadly, a big winner, but our biggest loser today. And Matt Eberflus for the rest of time. Why not? Here's a free one for you. Throw in whoever hires Matt Nagy as their new head coach. Good luck. Everybody wants to interview him right now. Good luck. On the other side of the break, obituaries. Now it's time for obituaries. I have the sound of the year. This is the soundbite of the year. It comes from Auburn, an Auburn men's basketball, and they're not buzzer beater. It's pretty awesome. Also, Texas players, if you enter the transfer portal, you can never come back.
10.
Unless you do. All of that, plenty more, right here. Westwood One Sports, Westwood One Sports app, and the Drake Toll Show.
Bomba-dee-da, 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 until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Some trails are happy ones, other trails are blue. It's the way you ride that counts. Here's a happy one for you.
homecoming queen in tight denim jeans, mixed with a southern drawl. Likes fried green tomatoes, cornbread and potatoes, and she doesn't have a single flaw. She could program computers or get a job at Hooters, make imagination run wild. Fulfill my wishes, knock me down with kisses, and put me to sleep with a smile. She's champagne in a Dixie cup, catfish caviar, a Georgia peach, firm and sweet, packed in a mason jar. She makes cotton look like silk, you ought to see her in my truck. But she's got all of everything, champagne in a Dixie cup.
You got that right. When I was a kid, 103.7 The Buzz, Bill Vickery would come on every Sunday, and it was this like political finance show. If there are two things I don't really care about in this world, politics and finances are probably up there. The sports guy, quintessential sports guy here. And Vickery would come on, and I didn't always know what he was talking about. You know, he'd throw out GDP, interest rates, jazz like that. I don't care. But what he would do is when Bill Vickery came back from every segment for his 4-hour radio show each Sunday, midday Sunday afternoon, you come home. We called it deer camp. You would go to hunt. It's a real guy dude thing. You'd go to hunt, and then you'd drive back from Carthage, Arkansas to Valonia, and you'd listen to Bill Vickery. And in each rejoin, when he'd come back on the show, he'd play like 3 minutes of a song. And you know what's funny is, let's say he played 10 songs for the sake of math. Over the course of a show, I would hate 3 of them. I'd be indifferent on 4 of them. And then I would save 3 to my Spotify. Do you understand how good of a day it is if you find 3 brand new songs you can listen to? How good of a week that is to throw in your rotation. So it's just that's a nod to Bill Vickery. The beauty of music for your morning. And sometimes you're going to hate it and think, that really sucked. But we're all here to figure this whole thing out together, right? We're floating on the big ball toward the never-ending doom of a rock in the sky that's on fire. What is there? What is there to complain for? Because is not the end always the same? And in essence, I'm segueing you into our obituaries. While we all must die, things have died before us. Our first obituary. Rest in peace, Auburn men's basketball buzzer beater. To accompany this obituary, here is the call from the Auburn Sports Radio Network, where the announcers believe, at least during this moment, that the shot at the half-court shot of the buzzer against Texas A&M has gone in to win Auburn the basketball game.
Got a shot at it.
3 to win it.
Yes.
He got
Yes.
it. Auburn
Yes.
wins. Auburn
Yes.
wins. Murphy hit
Yes.
the 3. The Tigers win.
Yes.
The Tigers win. Unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness.
Murphy
Oh, my goodness.
from just
Oh,
inside
my
midcourt
goodness.
knocked it home.
What a
The
shot.
Tigers win.
What a
The
shot.
Tigers win. Unbelievable.
Magnificent. Murphy comes through.
Awesome, right? Auburn's won the basketball game. But when they went back to review it, here's how that sounded.
All right.
How about this?
One of the officials has taken his headset off. The other takes his
Game is
headset
over.
off. Game
Over.
And they didn't give it to him. He didn't get rid of it in
Oh,
time.
no. No way.
And Texas A&M wins. Holy cow. Holy cow.
No way.
We're getting the review. And watching this review, the ball is out of his hand in time. But A&M has been declared the winner. How can that be?
How can that be? How can that be? I love the color analyst here, by the way. Yes! Yes! Oh my goodness. You just can't. Somebody forgot to put the batteries back in. He's just repeating the same thing over and over. All to get the crescendo of they erase the points. They give A&M the win. And the guy being like, by golly. He's just a cartoon character. Can't believe it. Disbelief. They're watching the replay. It's in his hand or it's out of his head. Come on. I've seen the replay myself. Auburn should not have won the basketball. There's 0.5 seconds on the clock, half-court heave. You can't get the ball out in 0.5 seconds. They didn't get the ball out. Auburn loses to A&M. Stephen Pearl, their head coach, son of Bruce Pearl, not happy. Our second obituary, say goodbye. Dead today. Texas players who enter the transfer portal, and more importantly, their ability to come back to Texas once they enter the portal. Here is what Coach Steve Sarkisian had to say about players that leave his program.
The moment you go in the transfer portal at the University of Texas, you're no longer coming back. Which I think a lot of schools do. Kids go and test the waters and try to come back. I'm not playing that game. Right. If you want to go in the portal, go in the portal. Good luck to you.
Okay, credit to Unnecessary Roughness for that audio. Good for Steve Sarkisian standing up for what's right about college football. You leave my program, you're no longer a Texas Longhorn. Once you enter the portal, it's done. I want my foxhole guys who want to play for me. Oh, what is this? Got a breaking news notification on my laptop. Let's see, Hayes Fawcett of On3. Okay. Texas defensive back Derek Williams will withdraw his name from the transfer portal and return in 2026. Yep, there we go. That's it. Just checking. Making sure we all had a pulse still. We're good to go. Steve Sarkisian won't take you back if you enter the transfer portal unless you're really good at football and your name's Derek Williams. Coaches love to just say things. And then the thing happens, and they're like, let's walk that back. Obituary. Say goodbye. Today we say rest in peace to old people coaches. Is that PC? Can I say old people coaches? I don't want to be discriminatory here. From Marcus Mosher. Matt LaFleur is the oldest coach in the NFC playoffs. 46 years old. 46 years old. Aaron Rodgers is, well, it's AFC, but Aaron Rodgers, a player in the league. Phillip Rivers, a player in the league. Both of those guys are rivaling that age. And he's the oldest coach in the NFC in the postseason. R.I.P. to old coaches. It's a young man's world now. And the final obituary, rest in peace to the career of Rashee Rice. Actually, Curtis, give me a second gong, please. Yeah. The double, this is the same guy that took his sports cars, Lamborghini, hit and run, high speed, Dallas, like 7-car pileup, and then left. That same guy. Domestic abuse allegations, allegedly, that we will get into in depth later in today's show, tomorrow's show, at some point, because they are very serious, and it seems like this string of events have led to Rashee Rice maybe not playing for a while, probably not playing for a while, and the guys who wore the shirts that said Free For, which, by the way, this is a great point in my notes from Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show, before the show. Yeah, those shirts are kind of embarrassing. He did the thing. Like, typically when you put, free somebody, it's because they didn't do the thing. But no, we're sure he was going really, really fast in his Lamborghini and got into a massive car wreck in Dallas. They just kind of didn't tell anybody. I don't know if we're freeing my mans for that. Rashee Rice is our final obituary. Time for the quickie. We got 5 headlines across sports. 5 minutes, minute apiece. Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. Are you in the void?
Hey, I'm here. Let's
void
go.
Being Washington, D.C., by the way.
That is the void. Many people are saying that is the void. By the way, I do love Kansas City. Man, we're acting like the guy was like trapped in North Korea or something like that with the Free For.
Free For.
Acting like this is Yeah, he committed a crime. Many people were saying, and he didn't do it. No, he did. But let's get to the headlines.
Sorry, but I hope that one day if I burglarize and vandalize and arsony, and I burn something down, that my buddies, they wear shirts that say like, free DT or something. Like, that'd be great. If I just burn a building down, or I rob somebody.
We will.
They're like, free my man. Like, I did the thing.
Curtis and I will wear that every show.
Thank you. Yes. Like,
we won't bail you out of jail.
I broke the law, but free him anyway. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's unfair. It's Drake's sea toll. So I get it. Pay the toll. Anyways, let's go to the headlines. Hawks reportedly trading Trae Young to the Wizards. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, this is the tale of two teams that are completely meaningless in the Eastern Conference right now. I mean, the Hawks are in a position to make the postseason. They will make no noise if they do that. The Wizards are in the land of shadow and flame, only better than the Pacers, who, people forget, played in the NBA championship last year. The NBA title. Yeah. Took it 7 games, too, against the Thunder. This is not a move for the Wizards to compete. This is not a move for the Hawks to compete. This is just kind of a sad move. Goodbye, Trae Young in Atlanta. You'll be missed. R.I.P. Obituary for Trae Young's time in Atlanta. Had a lot of good moments, by the way. A team that when he got there was not very good, and he had the immediate comparison of like, is this the next Steph Curry? No, the answer is no. Is he still a star? Yes. Neither team wants to compete with this move. That's a minute.
You might like this one, I think. Maybe, because I think it's funny. You won't like this one. Jerry Jones. No. Jerry Jones wants to be the owner with the most Super Bowls. But the Cowboys have a long way to go.
Yeah. Robert Kraft has a lot of Super Bowls, and Jerry Jones is 83 years old. To retire, Jerry, if you're listening, Arkansas native, go Hogs. To retire the winningest coach, GM, owner, anything that you want to be, player with the most Super Bowls, you have to have, 6, 7? Nice. Jerry Jones is 83 years old. Also, if you want to do that, you have to actually want to win, prepare to win, build a roster to win, build a team to win, and maybe allow someone else to help in that process. Love you, Jerry. That's a minute.
You might be the only person who's ever said, love you, Jerry.
Was it, our friend from Houston told me you loved me earlier. I liked that a lot, too.
That's a very Southern thing. Uh-huh. I did appreciate that. It made me feel right back at home.
That's good, yeah.
All right, this might be my favorite headline of the day, actually. Steve Kerr. His mom's not happy with him after his outburst leading to an ejection the other night.
If anybody can give it to you straight, tell it how it is. It's your mom. Even if you're Steve Kerr, your mother is still watching. And if you yell at people and are mean to people, your mom is going to see that and probably be upset and disappointed in you. Any given week in sports media, which, by the way, I don't care. It's the best part. It's the best part. I mentioned it on yesterday's show. You could get thousands of comments about, this guy is the worst or his take was terrible. I'm like, okay, great. I don't read those. I don't have time. You can't sift through it. I've got real things to do in life, like cook or clean or spend time with dogs. My mom reads all the comments, though. Every single one. And the mean ones, they get to her. They really get to her, which is great. April is watching, always watching. Your mom's always got your back. Just remember, Steve, next time you want to have an outburst, your mother is going to berate you for it. That's over a minute. But.
So we've talked about this a little bit. ESPN says their 33 non-CFP bowls had average viewership of 3.1 million, up 13% year over year. But the highest non-CFP bowl average since 2015-2016 season, the number one bowl, the Cheez-It Bowl, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, 9.1 million viewers. What are your thoughts on that?
It's pretty good. I know that you're going to drop that little Cheez-It Bowl nugget in there because of the Texas Longhorns. Played in the Cheez-It Bowl this year. I know what you're doing. I see what you do.
Who? I don't think I mentioned Texas once.
BYU and Georgia Tech this year with the Crown and the Pop-Tarts Bowl. People that say that the bowl games are dying, they are just looking for reasons to be mad. The bowl games are still fun. I enjoyed watching Hawaii over California. I enjoyed watching ECU over Pitt. I enjoyed the comeback. BYU over Georgia Tech. If you think bowl games are dying, you are the minority because everyone else seems to be putting them on their television. That's a minute.
All right, final one. You also talked about it, but this is my favorite headline regarding this topic. Lane Kiffin is cementing his weasel reputation in the Damon Williams Jr. saga.
Yeah, it's Pat Ford. That's a really good headline. He's just it's like, this guy's just a weasel. I don't even care who knows it at this point. Lane Train, man. When I was a sophomore in college at Baylor, the Baylor Bears beat Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels in the Sugar Bowl, and I had far too many Miller Lights. I mean, by the way, didn't know this. At the Superdome, they stopped selling alcohol after the third quarter. So you're just in the land of shadow and flame for the fourth quarter. You ever been to a sporting event and that happens? You start to have to sober up the last 15 minutes, and it's just the horrors all hit you at once. That's one of those situations for me. Except I had done liquor before beer, so I guess I was in the clear. And my friends,
I don't think that's actually true.
I don't either. My friends would attest. I brought my high school friends who don't drink, and I was like, all right, I'm watching my school play like actively in the Sugar Bowl. I'm gonna have a few beers. After the game, Addie, I kid you not, it didn't. Man, woman, child, elderly, babies, dogs. I was lane training in your face. I was doing this like really aggressive train hump motion. Like rotational train hump motion and just chugga, lane train in the elderly's faces. To this day, my friends from home berate me over how bad it made them look and how gross the situation was following Baylor's 21-7 win over Ole Miss. In conclusion, I may or may not own Lane Kiffin. Thank you. That's a minute.
I feel so bad for your friends. I do.
I do too, actually.
To embarrass them like that.
I do too.
Out in public, Drake.
There's like a 15-minute vlog of it that exists that I had to do for work at the time. And you can definitely tell my eyes get progressively less focused on the camera over the course of the vlog that evening. Lane Train. It's pretty awesome. That's the Quickie. Coming up, 310-840-910. What? 4910. What? 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. I'm Drake Toll. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. You can call and get involved. Otherwise, Kevin Harlan's going to tell us why the power of the Pope is going to help the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Wild Card.
She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone was all he'd ever be. I didn't think that she'd leave me after saying how much she need me, but the fact still remains. I'm sitting there all alone, missing the loving of my baby. Lord, it's about to drive me crazy. She was the sweetest piece of ever I've ever known. She just caught the Jamestown Ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown Ferry. And she said that gone without the ever be. As I walk through that valley of honky-tonks and bars, I remember how she'd hold me, comfort me with thought. She didn't cuss with every breath. She had a soothing southern drawl, made me feel like a man through it all. She just caught the Jamestown Ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me.
It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12. Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff. Addie Bates produces in Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter runs the board in California. Armin Williams, the PD, Vice President. Bruce Gilbert. Kevin Harlan joined the show this week. And I asked him how, despite Patullo, the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles, how can they contend? How can you say they are still the front runners to win the Super Bowl? And Harlan was clear. They just did it. They just did it, and they should be the favorite to do it again. They should be the team you look at and say, they will do it again. Buy now on Philadelphia when Las Vegas is giving you the opportunity to buy Philadelphia. That was the proverbial message from Kevin Harlan. I'm not sure if he told you what to buy, but if we're deducing the messaging here, it is the Eagles should still be the top of your list. What about the Seahawks? Because I said on Monday, if you listen to the Drake Toll Show, if you're an everydayer, if you've been with us, I said on Monday that I think the Seattle Seahawks are primed to win the Super Bowl, and they are my favorite, as well as Las Vegas's favorite right now, to win the entire thing. Here's what Kevin Harlan had to say about the boys from Washington.
But Sam Darnold has always thrived with a good running game, whether it was in Minnesota or this first year with the Seahawks. That just really triggers the best of his ability, and they've got it now. They've got a two-headed monster with Walker and Charbonnet at running back. We know they've got skill at receiver, and their offensive line is holding steady. They've discovered the tight end as the season has gone on. They love the kid Barner, and all this kind of culminates in them being a number one seed.
I am buying what the Seahawks are giving me. I've mentioned multiple times this week, and it's one of my favorite points, is that we'll see New England and Seattle and Denver in the postseason. But no Tom Brady, no Russell Wilson, no Peyton Manning, the new looks of these franchises. It's like that summer. I had a friend in college. I'll redact her name. She's great, awesome, fun to be around. Little wild, kind of wild, super wild. We all go home for Christmas break one year. And lo and behold, turn your TV on, and she is doing the Dr. Pepper football toss challenge for the SEC championship. What happens? This is nuts. What happens is she ties the girl she's competing against in the first round. They go to round 2. She once again ties in round 2. And the way they used to do the Dr. Pepper tuition challenge, by the way, you get $100,000 if you win this. The way they used to do it, they would have a practice game prior to the actual challenge itself on the field with ESPN broadcasting it. They would do a pregame challenge, and the winner of that would be named the tiebreaker holder. In this scenario, she was the tiebreaker holder. So they get done with round 2. The announcer guy goes, there will not be a third overtime. So-and-so wins. Confetti. It was so controversial that different sides sued each other over this. Dr. Pepper had to change the rules of the game. They had to rework the challenge. And she would get over $100,000 out of this. She came back from Christmas break with a lot of new stuff. The car got a lot nicer. It got an upgrade. She went and saw the surgeon. Some crazy decisions with this $100,000. Lived her life. Spoke her truth. And it's the Seattle Seahawks. You loved them. They were your friends. They were good. They were good back then. They were good. And then Christmas break happens. There's this little lull in it. You don't hear much. You turn the TV on one day. You're like, oh, yeah. They're in the news cycle again. It would be them and Pete Carroll parting ways. Oh, they're in the news cycle again. And you get back from Christmas break, and you look at that friend and you go, wow, where did all this come from? The Seattle Seahawks are somehow better than they were before they went on Christmas break, competed in the Dr. Pepper fan tuition challenge, and won $100,000 and won a lawsuit. Awesome. Wild. You can Google this, by the way. It happened, and it's fairly public. That's the Seahawks. Somehow the Seahawks are better after they played their Dr. Pepper tuition challenge than what I thought they were with their remember the Legion of Boom? That was before the Richard Sherman robbery thing. Still a lot of questions to go about that. But there is a leverage in the connected scheme of Mike McDonald's defense. Of his defense. Only allowing 17.2 points per game. They have these simulated pressures that are giving the league fits. The Seattle Seahawks, you just heard from Kevin Harlan. He's buying the Seahawks. They have a bye. They have the 1 seed in the NFC. They've shown us in a very, very tough division where they've had to play San Francisco consistently. They have told us over the course of this year, playing the Rams consistently, that even if they lose those games, the team that was hottest, latest, the Seattle Seahawks, the team that just beat San Francisco 13-3, and San Francisco was trying in this game. That defense is ready. This is the same San Francisco team. You'll remember they lost to 17-13 game 1 in the NFL this year. The only lapse they've had since that game they won at Tennessee where the defense looked pretty porous, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, was a game they won. Rallied to win against the LA Rams 38-37. Had they lost that game, 37-31, 37-30, had they lost that game, we wouldn't be talking about, oh, wow, so dominant in their last stretch. So dominant with 7 straight wins. Because losses are certainly weighted different than wins. And if you are the person who says, yeah, they won, but look how they won. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't flashy. The defense gave up 37. Here's what I'm saying. I don't vibe with that. When the team wins the game, that's where I build the trust in the team, no matter really how they do it. And in their 7-game win streak, I'm using the last 6 games they've played. They allowed those 37, no doubt. They allowed those 37 against the Rams. But listen to these scores. 0 points, a shutout against Minnesota. On the road against Atlanta, 37-9. Indianapolis held them to 16 points. Carolina, 10 points. San Francisco, 3 points. That is 38 points. Listen to this. 5 of their last 6 games. The only game in their last 6 where they were not playing the Rams, they allowed a combined 38 points. And against the Rams, they allowed 37. The consistency of the defense, it is a buzzsaw. Those are playoff teams. LA, Carolina, San Francisco, playoff teams. That's the last 3 wins of the Seattle Seahawks. If Kevin Harlan's going to buy them, I'm going to buy them. And guess what? God, yeah, the big man upstairs, God himself may also be buying the Seattle Seahawks. 2005. A new pope is elected. Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. Is elected right? They're elected, right? Appointed?
Yes. Yeah, they go through a process, and then the smoke comes out.
Is elected the right word? Am I nails here?
I think so.
Great, we'll stick with that.
Yes.
2005, new pope is elected. Seahawks, 1 seed. 2013, new pope is elected. Seahawks, 1 seed. 2025, new pope is elected. Seahawks, 1 seed. What? In the years where we get a new pope, which is not all that frequent, but in the years we get a new pope, the Seattle Seahawks are really good at locking down the 1 seed. And the race to Super Bowl 50 will go through Lumen Field. It will go through Seattle, one of the toughest places to go on the road and play, specifically if you're a team from the East Coast. I believe I am buying Seattle this postseason. And if Kevin Harlan is, I'm right there with him. That game against the Rams, hosting the Rams, you're going to run back the 38-37 classic they played a few weeks ago. Or if you get Carolina, plenty of confidence playing at home, you're going to beat Carolina. From there, I've seen you beat San Francisco. Confident you'd beat Philly. Confident you'd beat Green Bay. Be a great match with the Chicago Bears. But I do not see a team in the NFC that I can clearly definitively say is better than Seattle and will beat Seattle. Could I be proven wrong if the Rams do it? Yeah, and it wouldn't be that shocking. It wouldn't be shocking at all. But Seattle's number 1 for me. And again, if Kevin Harlan is buying, I'm buying the exact same thing. The Seattle Seahawks at plus 400 are also being bought by Las Vegas. Entered the season with plus 6,000 odds. Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith-Njigba, they have transformed the offense, and Seattle has the number 2 overall defensive EPA per play. That is NFL's next-gen stats. Home field advantage throughout the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold. The big question, and the question you're wondering, when is he going to get to this? Is Sam Darnold good enough to win in the postseason? I don't know. Guess we're going to find out, though. But we have to wait a week. Seahawks on the bye. I'm buying it now, though. Drake Toll on the Westwood One Sports and Westwood One Sports app. 310-840-4910. We've got time to hear from you. 310-840-4910 is the hotline. You can join the Drake Toll Show. And this segment on the Seattle Seahawks is brought to you by Progressive. Commercial insurance, protecting your business, vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. Progressivecommercial.com. On the other end, idiots of the day. We have quite a few as well. Rashee Rice, come on down to the Drake Toll Show.
Wild Card Weekend.
Our naked bodies go on trial just for laughing at the joke, just for saying of the bargain what any sales girl already knows. Most of us old men die at the firing line, just waiting for our number to be called. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Now the king regales his stepson when he's loaded as a gun. Says a real man is like a country. You need a map to find your one. Now I do you suppose you must approach the throne with its back up against the wall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Minds of my generation, glad they conscripted in the war of defending any Goliath that would deign darken the door. Now with your genius for picking battles, it's no wonder every helmet is too small. I guess time just makes fools of us all. I guess time just makes fools of us all. My drink is watered down. The champ is on his knees. He lost the rematch. He lost the comeback. He lost for charity, but that's the job. It's what gets the asses in the hall. They came for a beating, and he came to brawl. Client notice that of all the young gods I have known, yours is easily the least famous to turn down the cover of a Rolling Stone. Lily white faces, so familiar and yet impossible to recall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. After a millennia of good times, God said, hey now, let's have a dream where we raise the stakes a little. Come on, let's make things interesting. Parachute into the Anthropocene, an amnesiac, a himbo Kendall. I guess time does make fools of us all.
Drake Toll with you on the we'll do it live. Drake Toll with you on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Steven Willis, Locked on Ole Miss, will join the show at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to talk all things Trinidad Chambliss, the Rebels against the Miami Hurricanes tonight in the college football playoff. Wes Bryant, sideline analyst, has covered a whole lot of the ACC this season. We'll talk Miami. We'll go back and forth on how those two teams will fare in the college football playoff and which one of them will go to the national championship game to be played like 3 weeks from now. Before we get to the, you know what? No. Impromptu. We're going to do this in the middle of the show. We're going to make a change in the middle of the show. I'm going to add another candidate to my idiot of the day.
Idiot of the day.
Originally, this segment was supposed to be one idiot. And then I realized as I looked around the world that we live in, there's far more than that. I can find way more. I can go to Florida alone and find some really rich stuff. The first idiot of the day is the man, woman, child, whoever it was, that decided the college football playoff should be played until February. We're still doing college football. We should be doing the NFL postseason. It should be over. College football done on New Year's Day. Congrats. Focus on the National Football League. Wouldn't that be great? Instead, on a Thursday night at 4:30 Pacific time, don't these people understand that we have jobs? That you've got to go to work. You can't just sit around and watch college football at 4:30 in Sacramento, California. You have to be at the office still, and then you have to drive home an hour in traffic. By the time you get home, it's halftime already. This is not conducive to watching college football. Well, you could also argue that for those of us on the East Coast, if you've got to wake up at 4:45, 5 o'clock for work, you're starting a game at 7:30. We know that college football goes long. This game will go for 4 hours. You will not sleep until the better part of 11:30. It is bad for everyone. It is bad for everything. And the first idiot of the day goes to whoever built this model, whoever built it like this. Move everything. What the Army-Navy week. Yes, Army-Navy week is awesome. Love those two schools. We can play some games. We can play the first round of the college football playoff on that weekend as well. I don't hate America. I'm not saying I hate America. I'm saying we need to change this format because there's so much college football in your face. And I hate it's a Thursday. Because I would love to relax. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. I would love to relax a little bit. Couple drinks. Have a good time. But nope. They do it on weekdays now. Aaron Glenn, idiot of the day. I'm just looking for excuses to put him in here at this point. He may be the idiot of the day today until he's fired. Inevitably, this time next year, he will be. From Sleeper NFL, Garrett Wilson ended the season, I should say, as the Jets' leading receiver, 395 yards. That's bad. 395 is bad to be a team's leading receiver. He also has not caught a ball since week 6. Oh, not great. Not great. Another idiot of the day. This is crazy. Peter Cohen tweets, low frequency, listen to this, low frequency electromagnetic fields can degrade collagen, weaken tendons, and cause soft tissue damage at levels regulators call safe. We have a real-world case study proving this. An NFL team whose practice facility sits next to a massive electrical substation. Electromagnetic waves can degrade collagen and weaken your tendons and the injury-riddled San Francisco 49ers placed their practice facility and Levi's Stadium right next to an electrical substation. The internet was going crazy. The Eagles have no injuries. Their postseason runs, they've had 21 or 22 of their starters each of these years. The 49ers are ravaged. Yeah, maybe big electricity is the reason. Maybe it's time to blame the electromagnetic waves that they're firing into the tendons of their players. You ever think about that? Well, just a wild thing to hang your hat on injury-wise for the 49ers. Chris Sr. says, I brought this up and was called a conspiracy theorist. The Alex Jones of NFL content creators. But experts in this field continue to say it could be a reason why the 49ers deal with so many injury problems. Fascinating thread. Worth looking into. I got you, Chase. I'll be on the case here. I'll be really looking heavy into whether or not the electromagnetic waves are stopping the San Francisco 49ers from winning the Super Bowl. That's one of the excuses of all time. Idiots of the day. Luigi Mangione is making his first appearance. Yes, the guy who killed the CEO of that company a couple of months ago. He's on trial, I think, right now. Maybe. I don't really follow this stuff. But Iowa fan base is livid in the wake of Mark Cuban donating money to Indiana. Why? Well, it's because the CEO that Luigi Mangione killed, Iowa Hawkeyes alum. Oh, Iowa fans are clear. We are one less assassination away from Iowa winning the national championship in 2026. Yep, they took out the guy. Gosh dang it. Idiot of the day can be the Iowa fans for in the wake of a murder, wanting NIL out of it, or Luigi Mangione for whatever that was. And our final idiot of the day, Rashee Rice. And I'm going to go into this with the word allegedly. Rashee Rice, allegedly, star wide receiver of the Chiefs, committed domestic abuse for 8 years on his now ex-girlfriend, Dakota Nicole. She has accused him in an Instagram post, this is per ML Football, of ongoing violence, including when she was pregnant. Says she is no longer protecting his image and is focusing on healing with their kids. Nicole posted 14 photos. 14 photos as proof of her allegations against Rice. These are just allegations at this time. No official charges have been filed. The NFL will investigate this with or without charges. The Chiefs graphic said something along the lines of, hey, we heard about this, and we're taking it very seriously. Which in layman's terms is, we're pissed. This isn't good. 14 pictures, 14 photos of proof. And look, I'm not a jury of your peers. If you are out there and of the mind, hey, guilty or innocent until proven guilty, like, cool. I'm not here to argue that. I'm not here to tell you how you need to think about this. But I am here to give you the context. I'm here to give you the facts, and then you can decide on Rashee Rice and whether or not, honestly, he should play in the NFL again. March 30th, 2024, let me take you back to when he's driving a Lamborghini hit-and-run crash on the expressway in Dallas with a Chevrolet Corvette he was leasing and 4 other vehicles that were all in this chain reaction. Then 5 men jump out of the Lambo and the Corvette, fleeing the scene on foot. 2 of them to the hospital. 2 others are treated for minor injuries at the scene. And then Rashee Rice meets with Dallas police, and he's like, oh, yeah, that may have been me. Charged with 1 account of aggravated assault, 1 account of collision involving serious bodily injury, 6 counts of collision involving injuries. Rashee faced a $1 million lawsuit in injuries caused by the crash. May 7th, 2024, Dallas police announced that Rice was under investigation for allegedly punching a photographer at a downtown Dallas club. And then July 17th of this year was the plea bargain for the Dallas crash. This is the guy we're talking about. This is the guy that we're dealing with. Sometimes you go to the league and the lights are a bit too bright. Rashee Rice was supposed to go to Kansas City out of SMU as one of those draft picks you found in the middle of the, I can't say middle, he's late second round. One of those guys you find who comes in as a program changer for Patrick Mahomes. Let's give him more responsibility in the receiving game. Have Mahomes throw to him. This guy can create wins. Can be an extra weapon for Pat. He's a weapon, all right. Arrested. Charged. The punching situation, the alleged punching situation. Photographer at the Dallas Club. And now this, his ex-girlfriend. Mother of his child. Boom. 14 photos that she is calling proof of allegations against Rice. And if it comes to fruition that this is investigated and we find out, hey, guy who's done a lot of bad stuff before, guy who's been charged with a lot of bad things before, fleeing the scene of a car wreck, maybe we should put that career on ice for a bit. Maybe we should figure out some things before we let that guy go back out there. But, Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show, what do we know about athletes and getting away with things?
Oh, my goodness. It's just a slap on the wrist. And, of course, you have the Chiefs to be like, why does this keep happening to us, you know? Or the team that this keeps on happening to. I feel like this is one team that's just like every time this happens, I'm like, oh, it's the Chiefs. All right. That's okay. And I've said it with baseball. I've said it with other sports. Like, stuff like this, yeah, okay, you'll miss a couple games. But you'll come back. You'll come back because we need you. Hashtag free for.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. Add into the conversation, idiots of the day, the guys who wore the free for, free their man, Rashee Rice shirts earlier this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. Great pull from Addie there pre-show. Remember when Taylor Swift's fiance wore that shirt that said free Rashee Rice? Oh, brutal. Again, he did the thing. Like, we had the footage. He was charged with the hit and run. I just don't. If your friend commits a crime, again, I want to go back to, if I commit arson, if I light someone's business on fire, and I come out and I'm like, yeah, that was me. All of the cameras pointing at me showed me hitting that homeless person, kicking that child, and then burning down your business. I did that. I hope my friends are stand-up enough, good enough people to wear free DT, free Drake, free Toll, something like that on their T-shirts. Yeah, I did it. I mean, I have no reason to be freed, by the way. I have zero reason for you to let me off the hook with this. I was driving really fast in a Lamborghini or a Corvette, wrecked, and then tried to walk away. Or allegedly committed domestic violence. Yeah, I mean, you got me. But hey, look, free my man. Let him go. System is rigged against me.
I don't know if I'm going to be wearing a free Drake shirt.
Yeah.
All the other ones I think I could do, but, certified lover boy.
I had to jump into the free Toll. Makes a little bit more sense. Free DT. We couldn't do free Drake. There's already a trademark on that name. Good. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's a valid point. Up next, it is time for Steven Willis, Locked On Ole Miss. He is the expert on all things Rebels and can tell us exactly why they are going to win tonight against Miami. He's got the inside scoop from Oxford, Mississippi. He will give it to us. And immediately after, Wes Bryant, sideline analyst with the ACC and the CW, will also join to give the opposite. He's got inside scoop on Miami and from the locker room exactly why the Canes have the confidence that they will beat Ole Miss and go to the national championship, all leading up to Are You Smarter Than Drake Toll? Yep, that's the game today. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's coming up around the corner. Steven Willis, Locked On Ole Miss, and why the Ole Miss Rebels are going to beat Miami in the college football playoff tonight. This is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Don't go anywhere. Love being here with you. This is the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One Sports.
She's my homecoming queen in tight denim jeans, mixed with a southern drawl. Likes fried green tomatoes, cornbread and potatoes, and she doesn't have a single flaw. She could program computers or get a job at Hooters, make imagination run wild. fulfill my wishes, knock me down with kisses, and put me to sleep with a smile. She's champagne in a Dixie cup, catfish caviar, a Georgia peach, firm and sweet, packed in a mason jar. She makes cotton look like silk, you ought to see her in my truck. But she's got all of everything, champagne in a Dixie cup. Find a place in the country, raise some little pumpkins, listen to the robins sing. Talk about the weather, blend life together, out on the front porch swing. Count lightning bugs, hold hands and hug, let out a rebel yell. Well, there's nothing like a sunrise, a good sip of moonshine, nothing like a Southern belle. She's champagne in a Dixie cup, catfish caviar, a Georgia peach, firm and sweet, packed in a mason jar. She makes cotton look like silk, you ought to see her in my truck. But she's got all of everything, champagne in a Dixie cup. She makes cotton look like silk, you ought to see her in my truck. But she's got all of everything, champagne in a Dixie cup. Yeah, she's got all of everything, champagne in a Dixie cup.
your music bed's not playing, so I'm just keeping our music up. It's not working for some reason. It's playing, but nothing's coming out.
By Robin Hood. More money, more food. The Drake Toll. The Drake Toll Show. Oh, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Westwood One Radio. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, college football kickoff, Amazon Fire TV. How beautiful it is that so long ago Kevin Harlan said, yeah, I'll do play-by-play for Westwood One, Iron Eagle, some of the legends of the game, and then Westwood One now with 24/7 radio. It's this quintessential sports brand. And today, we're live across the board. Nick Costos follows the Drake Toll Show. Bleck and Abdallah will get you through the midday. Jim Rome, ever heard of him? He's got your back. The lineup is loaded, top to bottom, even our overnights, loaded with Westwood One Sports. And, given that, you only deserve the best. Now, look, there are a lot of national analysts that could come on this show, and I'd say, hey, Miami and Ole Miss, give me a synopsis of it. And they'd say, yeah, two really good teams out there, two really good coaches. It's going to come down to quarterback play. You're like, oh, well, yeah, could have told me that, huh? Like Roy Philpott came on yesterday. He didn't give that to you. He gave you the deep underlying storylines, right? There are the people who give it to you straight up. And one who's in the trenches, close as you can be to the Ole Miss program, is Steven Willis, Locked On Ole Miss. Steven, Ole Miss and Miami, is this the biggest game that the Rebels have played in the modern era of college football?
Biggest game that Ole Miss has played in the modern era of college football. They are 60 minutes away from a national championship game. And it's just like we expected before the season. It was going to be Miami and Indiana and Oregon and Ole Miss. That's going to be your Final Four, just like all of the experts predicted.
And here we are. New blood, right? It is one of these four teams will be a changing of the guard in college football, but one of these four teams is missing its head coach in Lane Kiffin and now has a brand new head coach with a playoff victory, 2 under his belt. Take me through, Steven, for those who weren't on the inside, the last month. Let's go back a month to everything that has happened between Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, and now the playoff conundrum.
Yeah, it was interesting. Lane at some point, I'm thinking it's around the Georgia game, the first time they played, just decided it couldn't happen at Ole Miss. And at that point, he was going to either go to Florida or LSU, and he was going to try and make that work. But one problem happened during that span is Ole Miss kept winning games. And all of a sudden you have an 11-1 team, but all of your thoughts that you have, they're still there. So Lane decided he was going to go to LSU and bail out because he thought that without him, Ole Miss would have lost to Tulane and they would have surely lost to Georgia. And with that going on, Ole Miss had to pivot. And Pete Golding, he spent 5.5 years with the GOAT at Alabama. He spent 3 years at Ole Miss. He has a good grasp of what is going on. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, Drake. He is not taking a false step over the last month in this whole thing, whether it's been in the transfer portal, bowl prep, or press conferences. Everything has been pitch perfect. And it's basically him saying this is going to be about the players because, Drake, one thing's interesting. Trinidad Chambliss should have been in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Yeah.
Should have been. He wasn't because everybody was talking about whether or not Lane Kiffin was going to coach at Ole Miss for the better part of the last 6 weeks of the season. Juwan Lacey should have won the Doak Walker Award. He didn't because nobody was talking about that. Now the emphasis is on the players, and Pete Golding has a ton of momentum in Oxford, Mississippi.
Steven, you mentioned Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss. What is incredible to me, and this is getting away from the game tonight and more about the future of Ole Miss football, incredible to me, I really believe, even as an outsider, that when Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss, he fully expected to get the pick of the litter from the coaching staff and the players on the Ole Miss roster to bring them with him to LSU. Instead, that is blown up in his face. It is incredible the loyalty a lot of these guys who are re-signing with Ole Miss have to Ole Miss and not Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because a lot of people thought that this whole situation was going to be real similar to what I guess Penn State and Iowa State's looking like. That was kind of going to be the look, and that wasn't the case so far, and everybody was waiting to see, would Kewan Lacey stay, would Trinidad Chambliss stay, and the other players as well. But once they started taking stepping stones to do it, the momentum just slowly started to build, and now there's probably, 3 or 4 players to even watch for as this moves forward. Now, as we've all seen with Lane Kiffin, I don't think it matters if you re-sign with your team. He's still going to try to get them, but Ole Miss is at a really good spot, and it's excitement. It's the town embracing the team, the town putting its arms around the players. That's the love that they felt, and honestly, they're repaying that.
No doubt. Steven Willis of Locked On Ole Miss joining the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports. These two teams they're playing their best football at the right time. You have to be to get to the national semifinal. But Miami's defense allowing 17 combined points versus Texas A&M in a true road game and then Ohio State in a neutral site game in the Cotton Bowl just goes to show their defensive line, their linebacking core, their secondary, there's not really a lapse on that side of the ball for Miami. As electric as the Ole Miss offense is, Steven, how do you penetrate a Miami defense? And how do you, from what you've heard from the coaches, Charlie Weiss Jr., how do they plan to penetrate that Miami D?
I think tempo is the key in this game. Ole Miss needs to go back to their roots and go fast because Miami doesn't rotate a lot on the defensive line, and when they do take breaks, you want them to be on the sideline for 2 or 3 plays, those game record defensive ends. That's an advantage you could have. There's different things like the tight end over the middle. That could be a weakness that could be exploited, but there's so many weapons on the outside. The main thing, though, is going to be going as quickly as you can and hopefully getting those defensive ends off the field and then keeping them off the field for a couple of plays.
Steven, we could go back and forth on the X's and O's of this, and I read the EPAs of these two teams earlier. Yeah. What we know about the Final Four is each of these teams are good, really, really good at most things, all 3 phases of the game. So we can go on, hey, if it's Beck or Chambliss, whoever plays better is going to win the game. There are plenty of cliches. What I would love to know from the Ole Miss insider, the guy who is close to the pulse of this fan base, what does it feel like to wake up Thursday, January 8th as an Ole Miss Rebels fan who no longer, again, in the wake of all this Lane Kiffin stuff, to wake up as an Ole Miss Rebels fan and know that tonight you are playing in the national semifinal?
Man, Drake, words cannot explain that, honestly, because for long-suffering Ole Miss fans, people that have been Ole Miss fans for a long time. I remember Ole Miss going 10-10 against Arkansas State on homecoming. I remember those days. I remember the probation after you thought Hugh Freeze got you where you need to go. I remember 2 wins with Houston Nutt. It's been a journey over the last 4 decades for me, and it's all culminating with this stretch. And it started about the Florida game, where each game that Ole Miss played was the biggest in program history, and you weren't even being hyperbolic about that. And just enjoying this journey, because let's be real about something, especially when it comes to sports, so many fans are destination oriented. They want championships. They want to win the final game. But this is one of those rare occurrences to where if you take a time to enjoy each and every game, it exponentially makes the next one better. And I have been in the mode of just excited for this football game for 2 days now. And normally that's like 3 hours before kickoff on game day. Yeah. It's been 3 days. So, yeah, Ole Miss fans are pretty juiced about this game.
Sports are the front porch of the university, no doubt. And, I mean, the reason that I was a Baylor Bear is watching some of the greats who were able to revive a program that was dead. That's what we love about sports. It's why we love these schools. It's why college football will always be a stalwart of American tradition in the fall and now in the winter and in the spring, shortly, because we just continue the season. Steven, before we let you go, if you've got to pick I'm sure you're going to lead Ole Miss here, but give me the final thoughts. What does America need to leave with as they are looking at this game tonight, and why you think Ole Miss will win?
I think that the one thing that nobody is going to talk about today going into it is Ole Miss has the best special teams in all of college football remaining. And that is going to be an advantage going against Malachi Tony and the Miami team. I think Ole Miss is going to win the game at the end 31-24. They've scored 30 points in 9 straight games, including 2 against Georgia and 1 against Oklahoma. So it should be interesting to see. It's a great game. Miami's a terrific team. You hate to say the thing, I'm just happy to be there, but I am happy we're here, and we'll see how it goes.
No doubt. Steven Willis of Locked On Ole Miss. Willis, always a pleasure.
Oh, no problem, Drake. Take care, folks.
Yeah, if you are an Ole Miss fan, college football fan, want the inside scoop on a guy who has the perspective of the right side of history on the Lane Kiffin deal, that situation, Steven Willis is the guy to give it to you. Ole Miss Insider, Locked On Ole Miss, his podcast every day, wherever you find your podcasts, as well as YouTube. Thought I nailed it. I'll say it again. Ole Miss playing Miami in the college football playoff in the national semifinal, it is the equivalent of VCU and Butler, the 11 seed versus the 8 seed. In the Final Four, winner gets to go and play Duke, UConn, something like that. But the highest combined seed in NCAA tournament history, 19, 11 plus 8, 19. But one of the Cinderellas had to go. The shoe couldn't fit anymore for somebody. And it sounds so weird to call Miami or Ole Miss a Cinderella. But the reason that I posed it like that is because 2 years ago, 4 years ago, Ole Miss couldn't win in the college football playoff. Miami couldn't get to the college football playoff. These were 2 programs that are in the great category. They have the money. They have the infrastructure. They play in the South, one in the SEC, one in the ACC. That's a good thing. But they're not Alabama. They're not LSU. They're not Ohio State. They're not Michigan. There's a select group of 5, 6, maybe 7 college football programs that have enough money, enough prowess to win a national championship. Ole Miss and Miami would not have been in that category. They were 20 years ago, but in the college football playoff era, in the NIL and the transfer portal era, things have changed so much. You begin to question whether or not anybody not named Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, LSU can win a national championship. Clemson can win a national championship. This year is proof that college football is not dead. If you think college football is ruined and needs to be completely restructured, blown up, go back to the start, change it, I think you're wrong. It feels different than it did 10 years ago, for sure. I miss, there's the nostalgia you're always going to miss. It has ebbed and flowed. It has changed. It is not good that Oregon is going to play Rutgers in a conference game in the Big Ten. That is not good. But when we get to this part of the season and you see Trinidad Chambliss, all these Ole Miss fans using the Trinidad and Tobago flag, that's awesome. Guy went to Ferris State, spent 4 years at Ferris State. He did the transfer portal the right way, went to Ole Miss as a backup to Austin Simmons. Went there to sit on the bench, ride the pine, hope his moment came. And when the moment did come for Trinidad Chambliss, he led Ole Miss the rest of the season as a Heisman caliber quarterback. Led Ole Miss the rest of the season to this moment, glory on the line in the college football playoff. That's the story we love. It's not Lane Kiffin robbing Ole Miss of coaches. It's not Lane Kiffin going to Damon Williams, the Washington quarterback, in the middle of a funeral service for a Washington women's soccer player who died of cancer. And he says, Damon, come play at LSU. And then from there, Damon Williams, in the middle of that service, announces he's entering the transfer portal. Washington says, you just signed a contract with us 4 days ago. It's binding. You signed a contract. That's what contracts are. You can't just walk out on that. While that is the storyline, while that's what we all talk about, while that's the hit that we have to play, that we have to have the conversation about, Trinidad Chambliss should be the number one thing you focus on tonight when it comes to the Ole Miss Rebels. They will talk about Lane Kiffin on the broadcast. Lane Kiffin will be tweeting live during the game. But the guy who has robbed Ole Miss of coaches, who said get on the plane or get lost, who has picked apart this staff that he allowed on loan to Ole Miss for a bit. And I said, okay, you can go, you can't. You can go, you can't. That guy should not be the focus today, even though he has to be. I get it. Trinidad Chambliss, the Ferris State quarterback who bet on himself and is about to get paid for it, about to send his team possibly to the national championship. That guy deserves the spotlight. Thank you to Steven Willis for taking the spotlight. Now Wes Bryant will take over. The ACC expert, analyst for the CW, host of the ACC DM. That's coming up next. I'm Drake Toll, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is The Drake Toll Show. Sponsored by Robinhood, your money, your move. The Miami Hurricanes and Ole Miss Rebels square off tonight in the college football playoff. Look for the defensive line of the Canes to be the difference. Trinidad Chambliss is a great quarterback at Ole Miss, but the defense of the U has only allowed 17 points combined in their 2 playoff games. I'm riding with Miami. I'm Drake Toll. Sponsored by Wrangler. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles to kickstart your day. Wrangler for the ride of life. John Harbaugh receiving interest from at least 7 NFL franchises to become their next head coach, but he will not take interviews until next week. Could he be waiting on another high-profile job to open up? I think so. Or maybe it's just the Giants. I'm Drake Toll. With John Harbaugh out in Baltimore, the search begins for a new head coach for the Ravens. And as for Harbaugh, he will not take any interviews for a new head coaching job until next week. There's a great chance he's waiting on another high-profile opportunity after the wild card weekend. Or is he just giving the New York Giants time to sweeten their deal? They're the odds-on favorite to land him. I'm Drake Toll. Back on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff, and the Drake Toll Show. Miami Ole Miss tonight. While the world wants to tell you that Lane Kiffin is the main storyline for the Ole Miss Rebels, across the way from Miami, they're utilizing a transfer portal quarterback, just like the other three teams in the college football playoff, and a rejuvenated roster, not necessarily built off the transfer portal and the transfer portal alone, but built off homegrown talent like Malachi Toney, and they are a game away from the national championship. He is the expert on all things ACC. Wes Bryant, sideline with the CW, and a host with the ACC Digital Network. Wes, the Miami defensive front, is that what wins this game for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, man, we're going to talk about that, no doubt about it. Also wanted to add host of Wes and Walker on WFNZ down here in Charlotte, North Carolina, 92.7 FM. Wanted to throw that in there as well. But, yeah, man, no, I'm excited for this game. I said that Miami was going to beat Texas A&M. After they beat Texas A&M, I said that they were going to beat Ohio State. And I said during this game, Georgia was originally my national championship pick, so some expert, huh? But I said that if Georgia somehow doesn't win this game, I think that Miami is going to beat Ole Miss. And, yes, I do think they're going to get this victory tonight. And you led off with the defense, and very much so, they should be in the forefront because they're the nation's leader in sacks. They've had 12 sacks in the first two games in this one, and this is a physical Miami team. We know that Mario Cristobal, ex-offensive lineman, so I'm excited about that as well, the O-lineman representing as a head coach. But he builds the team through the trenches. He built this team through the trenches, I should say, and it's paying huge dividends as they've been running the football at a high clip. Mark Fletcher Jr., 262 yards in the first two rounds with a healthy average in each game, man. So they're running the football. They're doing a solid job of stopping the run. And then when it's time for your quarterback to throw the football, the Sharks are coming out, man, and they have the best edge duo in the country, in my opinion, with Akeem Mesidor and Reuben Bain.
Wes Bryant joining the Drake Toll Show, ACC expert. Wes, thanks for taking the time. And I saw a tweet of yours that I really appreciated, and I want to take away from the game for a second. Miami and Ole Miss playing in the college football playoff is new. It's not Georgia. It's not Alabama. It's not LSU, and that's usually what people tell you college football should be at the very top. And Cam Newton said on ESPN, I guess now a week ago, that people aren't watching the greatness of Indiana because it's Indiana, because IU has that stigma, and that case could go for this. People aren't watching Ole Miss and Miami because they're not Alabama, they're not LSU. How is that the wrong way that we're looking at college football, and is it the wrong way to look at college football?
Yeah, so you're saying the wrong way to look at college football as far as who's bringing in the TV rating?
No doubt, or I guess fans and analysts only watching if certain big names are there.
Yeah, I can. So for me personally, like when I watch the NCAA tournament, right? Like, yeah, everybody enjoys the upsets. So I'm like that to a certain extent. I want to see an upset up until a certain round, and then after that, I want to see the best. So I say all that to say, if we're talking about teams that demonstrate themselves as being the best, that's who you want to watch, no matter what conference they're in. What Cam Newton is speaking on, he's talking about, yes, I think it is old logic. I think it is dated logic because we can have new teams that come along. Look at what Oregon was able to do. For the majority of my life, Oregon was not considered a great football program, and then they became one, even though they haven't won a national championship, and lots of people tune in to watch the Oregon Ducks play. There are programs that when they do show a level of consistency of being really good, then people will watch them. But Cam Newton, I've grown up in the South. I've been watching college football since 1991. I've never clamored to watch Mississippi State and Ole Miss and some of those teams from the SEC unless they are among the best teams in the country. Then I'm interested. So, Cam Newton, obviously he went to Auburn because in that same soundbite, he said the great Auburn, and Auburn hasn't been great in a while now. Yeah. So, he's an SEC guy, and those guys just have a pride that you can't measure. But I think the country wants to be able to – you can have it two ways. You either have the team that comes along lately that people are curious about, so they want to watch to be able to, tame their curiosity, And then you have the teams that do come along that may not have been national powers of yesteryear, but they're a new blood, so to speak, as some of these teams like to call themselves now. So then you have new bloods that come in and show that they are here to stay. And so, yes, people are going to eventually watch them because they're going to get the best players. They're going to have really good programs and playing really meaningful games.
Yeah, no doubt. Wes, let's keep it there then and then come back to Miami Ole Miss tonight, because what I love about your work is being a mouthpiece for the ACC that is typically overlooked in college football. Most national TV shows or radio shows will tell you the SEC is king. Anything outside of that is barely worth watching. Miami's proving the ACC has national championship caliber teams not named Clemson. What is this run doing for the Atlantic Coast Conference?
It is huge because it's just proving once again that ACC football teams can make the playoffs. They are capable of going deep. We're not that far removed from when Clemson was dominant, but it's also showing that, we forget, even though I did agree, even though I'm an ACC guy, when Florida State was held out of the playoffs, I knew what would happen to them without Jordan Travis, what type of team they would be, whether you agree with whether they should have been in or not. This just wasn't a team that I felt was capable of winning a national championship, so there's no bias here. But the ACC has proven over and over again that when they get into the biggest of spaces, that they are able to compete at the highest of levels. Now, what the ACC has not done to do themselves any favors in the eyes of the rest of the country is you got to win non-conference games. Just plain and simple. You can't lose games to teams that you should not lose to. If you're Clemson, you cannot lose to LSU at home. Even when you want to go to a smaller scale, if you're Louisville, you can't consistently lose to Kentucky. Like, anytime you're an ACC team, when you play a team from another conference, especially the Big Ten, or the SEC, then you have to represent or at least be competitive. And when Clemson was doing their thing, and we had Florida State with the Dalvin Cooks, and they were among the best teams in the country, and you had some other teams in the ACC, the Louisvilles with Lamar Jackson and some of those schools, the record against the SEC was very good. They were very competitive with that conference, but as of late, that has not been the case. And so then when you get embarrassed in those situations, then people are going to look and say, when there's already a preconceived notion with the SEC, they're going to say, see, the ACC just can't compete. They are lesser. So this is a nice step for the league, but it has to continue going forward with teams taking care of business in the non-conference. It can't just be Miami. That's the lone team that's like the big brother. When you go to the park, you're like, oh, no, I'm not going to fight you, but I'm going to put my big brother against you. I'll send Miami to come and get you. No, you have to have more teams. That means that Clemson needs to get back to being Clemson. Florida State needs to get back to being Florida State. And then you need some more teams also to step up to the forefront as well. Maybe my Demon Deacons could step into that arena as well after winning 9 games this year under Coach Jake Dickert. So it takes a collective effort, but I do think the ACC has not done itself a service the last few seasons in non-conference play. So it's a little bit of both, but I think what's happening right now is I do think that with some of the bowl wins that you saw, SMU beating in Arizona, Virginia beating in Missouri, some of those games, and I know people will say, oh, the bowl games, people aren't playing, things of that nature. Well, at the end of the day, both teams have defections. Both teams have opt-outs. All you can do is play who you're supposed to play with the team that you have, but it's got to continue into the next season, and the ACC has to continue to show that consistency in non-conference matchups.
ACC expert Wes Bryant on the Drake Toll Show. Wes, before we get you out of here, tonight's game, Ole Miss and Miami, huge for the ACC, as we've mentioned, massive for Ole Miss, who lost Lane Kiffin but has won in spite of that. How do you see this game playing out? Who do you see winning?
For one, I'm a huge intangibles guy as well, psychology type of guy, and I just wonder how much can Ole Miss continue to keep this ship going with all of the distractions with the coaches and them not having assistants that will be available for this game, and that kind of throws off some of the chemistry and some of the different things. And some of those coaches, they do bring little things to games sometimes that matter, some of those reminders to players, some of the things on the sidelines that they discuss that maybe a coach that comes in that's not them may not be able to do. So I wonder if those distractions, all that noise, they can get through it. As far as on the field goes, I mean, you're talking about Trinidad Chambliss is the hot guy. There's always one in a playoff where there's a player who just captures the imagination of the country, and I think that he's done that. So against Miami tonight, the Canes are going to have to play more discipline in their rush lanes. They're not going to be able to just kind of go, all over the place and get to the quarterback, which I think they had good practice with that with Marcel Reed from Texas A&M, even though I don't think he's as good a passer as Trinidad Chambliss is showing. So I think for Miami, they got to be disciplined in their rush lanes, but still be able to be as fierce as they have been, but just continue to play with the confidence and the swagger. I feel like tonight we probably see the best game from Carson Beck, who hasn't thrown for 300 yards total in the first 2 games. So I think it's time for that Miami passing attack to show up with Malachi Toney for him to have a big game, because this Ole Miss defense, they're good, but they're not great. They're not like the 2 defenses that Miami has seen already. But for Miami, I think it's just simple as well. You have to stick to the core of what's got you here. Continue to run the ball with Mark Fletcher and bruise those guys up, and then be able to take your shots down the field when you want to do that, and then just continue to let this defense play with the rhythm and play with the style that they've been playing with. I think that they are the best defense left in this, college football playoffs. Now, Indiana's defense, no slouch as well. So I think, you're splitting hairs when you talk Miami and Indiana. But this Miami defense is as good as it gets. There's NFL players all over the field for them, and that was one of the reasons why I felt Miami could make this type of run, because of the talent. I put out a weekly power rankings every week, and I would have Miami, pretty high or number 1, even with losses. And people are like, oh, Wes, with Georgia Tech's undefeated or this, that, and the third. But I knew the entire time Miami had the best talent. They were the best team all year long. And I think now they're proving that. And I think that they prove it tonight. The pride, the pedigree, is the U back? All of those things will come into play tonight. I think the Hurricanes move on to the national championship and take on Indiana.
He is an expert on the ACC. Incredible stuff. Sideline with the CW, the Wes and Walker Show, WFNZ, host for ACC Digital Network, Wes Bryant. Thanks so much for joining the Drake Toll Show.
Thank you as well. I enjoyed it.
Incredible to have him on the hotline. That you understand, for those that are driving, you're in your car right now. You're at school, maybe. You're not driving at school, but you're at school. You're in your office, cubicle. You're raking leaves in the front yard. Because it's still early in the morning. It's still 6:34 local time for you. Steven Willis of Locked On Ole Miss, Wes Bryant, came on the show just now for free. Like, you got to listen to that for free on the radio, on the Westwood One Sports app, and hear not just expert analysis, but guys that are going to give it to you. Like, Steven Willis is getting choked up because Ole Miss, the team he's followed for his entire life, gets to cover now, is going to the college football playoff. Wes Bryant is telling you the SEC wants to be very clear that it's the best conference in college football, and maybe they are, but the metrics aren't in their favor anymore. And also being clear that if the ACC wants to survive moving forward, because conferences are dying now, that it has to be more than just Miami. You can't just send Miami out there as your David that slays Goliath all the time. Like, who is your representative? It can't just be the Hurricanes. It has to be multiple teams. Nails, man. Like, I hope, because sometimes, it's kind of the human nature of, you hear a guest called in the radio show, you kind of tune in, tune out, tune in, tune out. If you're dialed into these guys, they are just spitting excellence. You don't get that everywhere. You don't get that everywhere. And you don't get to play a brand new game on the Drake Toll Show just anywhere. You only get it here and today. Are you smarter than Drake Toll? Producer Addie Bates from Washington, D.C. has built, curated questions and categories. It'll be between myself and our board operator, Culver City, California, Curtis Poindexter. That is cinema, but for radio. That's on the other side of the break, as well as John Harbaugh, head coach of the Bills. Who says no? This is the Drake Toll Show.
One of the
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe
22. You know I'm 305 tatted on my body. I got everybody in a job. Somebody hit the lights, camera, let me improvise. Can I get a hallelujah? More moolah, more peace for my medulla. The whole crew up, yeah. Louis Prada, Dundada, top flow, come take a ride up with the Prada. I came up from the bottom. You have no idea. You can't swipe through my story. Write my name in history. Fly open eye, re-emerge from the side like a god. I'm talking real guap. 23, 45 with the rock. I'm a lot. I am not what they think. I like it dirty. I be filthy with the ricochet. She threw it at me. I hit it right down the straight away. Feel like somebody put a blue pill in my lemonade. I think that's how I ended up in the bay with this pain in my head. You know I came up from the bottom. You have no idea. You can't swipe through my store. No sir. Write my name in his store.
Good morning. We're back in the Drake Toll Show. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization. Locked on Big 12. Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff. Westwood One Sports. The Westwood One Sports app. The Westwood One website. I'm Drake Toll. John Harbaugh. Oh, dude, do you understand how groundbreaking, earth-shattering, life-changing it will be when next week, this time next week, Thursday of next week, we're talking about John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I want you to have this on your radar. Yeah, the Giants are the current favorites, like minus 150 to land him. Maybe he could go to Miami. You're hearing that Miami is pushing for him while Mike McDaniel is still the head coach, actively the head coach. Yet there may be conversations happening under the table between Harbaugh and their organization to come in and be the new head coach. That weird situation of, we will fire the current guy. I'll break up with my current girlfriend if you'll date me. That always works out well, doesn't it? Adam Schefter says former Ravens head coach John Harbaugh is not expected to conduct any head coach interviews until next week. Maybe it could be because he's moving his house. Maybe it could be just a decompression. He's owed some money. He could take a year off. He could go to Cancun. Maybe he wants to rest for a bit. But typically you wouldn't see that amongst coaches that still want to coach. I would get on the phone immediately. When you get fired by your job, if you are the type A personality of an NFL football coach, as opposed to an NFL non-football coach, obviously, you're that type A personality, you are calling, you are trying, you are doing everything in your power to find the next job, whether you're a football coach or the layman, a guy like me and you. Once I get canned, the clock starts now. Always the severance conversation. But for me, I think for a lot of personality types, you're ready to go. I'm not going to Cancun yet. I want to compete in life. I don't think he's pushing it back so he can rest. I think he's pushing it back to next week for exactly the reason that Nick Wright says. He's smartly waiting to see if the Eagles, Bills, or Packers would fire their coach to hire him if they lose this weekend. Ton of noise around LaFleur, who, by the way, is the oldest head coach, 46 years old, the oldest head coach in the NFC postseason in 2026. Crazy. RIP to old coaches. The Bills, would they move on from McDermott to hire Harbaugh? Would Harbaugh get them over the hump? Is this an Andy Reid from Philly to Kansas City situation? Uh-oh. Don't let me cook. What about the Eagles? Wild that Nick Wright would put the Eagles in this conversation, by the way. What about the Eagles that just won the Super Bowl? Do you see a world in which John Harbaugh replaces Nick Sirianni because their fan base thinks he's a terrorist? It is something to think about. It's food for thought that come this time next week after the wild card weekend, if the right teams lose, that John Harbaugh may get the keys to a playoff team. He may not have to go to Cleveland and rebuild. He may not have to go to the New York Football Giants and rebuild. He could take a team that is ready to win now, a team with a very good quarterback, a Josh Allen type, a Jalen Hurts type, and go win there. Keep it on your radar. Tonight, Ole Miss, Miami. This is the Drake Toll Show. Drake Toll with you. This game is going to come down to defense. That's pretty cliche, right? Admittedly, yes. But defense in the way that Miami holds teams down on late downs. The number 9 team in the country on third down defensively is Miami. Ole Miss, number 47 in America on third down offensively. That disparity is the difference. Ole Miss will struggle to convert on third down. Miami will hold their offense at bay on the late downs. Miami does a very good job at forcing poor opponent field percentage. They want to force you into bad field percentage to start, bad spot to start your drives. Ole Miss, their field position averages their own 27. That's 83rd in the country. Miami, elite at forcing you to bad field position. Ole Miss, bad at getting good field position. There are these little things. It's not just the defensive line, the quarterback play. It's the EPA analytics, the efficiencies, the disparities that are going to help Miami. The Canes on offense, top 30 in America on early downs. Ole Miss, defensively, number 108. On early downs. Average third down distance for the Miami offense is 13th in America. Ole Miss, their defense, 107th. They'll allow short third downs. Miami will have short third downs, and they'll convert those because that's what they've done all years. They'll convert those. And they're efficient on their early plays. That's how they build the short third downs. That's how Ole Miss has gotten in trouble with allowing short third downs against opposing teams because their EPA, their efficiency on early plays, is not great. The numbers, the metrics point to Miami, the number 10 team who lost to Louisville and SMU. But that same Miami team is going to win tonight against Ole Miss. I've got the Hurricanes, and the college football playoff will continue tomorrow with Indiana and Oregon in a bout to decide who will go to the national championship game and play the winner of Miami and Ole Miss. Rashee Rice, allegedly, new claims have come forward from his ex-girlfriend of domestic violence. 14 photos she is submitting to the public, to the world, as evidence. Idiots of the day, like Steve Sarkisian for saying once you enter the transfer portal, you cannot come back to Texas, only to let a player immediately come back, like yesterday. And then Levi's Stadium, as doctors are now telling the world that electromagnetic, low-frequency fields can degrade collagen, weakening your tendons and causing soft tissue damage at levels regulators call unsafe. And right next to Levi's Stadium is an electrical substation built almost on top of the practice facility for the 49ers. And now we're all starting to turn our head and say, uh-oh, are the 49ers getting hurt because they have an electromagnetic field that is tearing their players' tendons apart? I'm on the case. Don't worry. I'm going to monitor that for you. Here on the Drake Toll Show every Thursday, it is time for my favorite game. Are you smarter than Drake Toll? Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show, Washington, D.C. Who are our contestants?
So, for today's Are You Smarter Than Drake Toll, we have Drake C. Toll and Curtis Poindexter.
Yeah.
Curtis,
Where do you
are
get
you
these
ready?
people?
I found them on the street. This is the best we could do.
Nice.
Alrighty, let's go. Curtis, what's the first category?
History.
Ooh.
History.
Alrighty, here we go. Here is your question. What Greek philosopher is known as the father of Western philosophy?
Okay. Looking for a pen here. Is Curtis going first? There's no way Curtis knows this. I'm betting.
How are we doing this?
I'm putting the house down on this one. Curtis doesn't know it.
Curtis, what's your answer? Curtis gets to go first every time.
That's fine.
It's either Plato or Aristotle. Plato.
All right, Drake.
Socrates.
Drake Toll is correct.
Bang! Bang!
All right, Curtis.
Curtis, get your
What's
money
the
up,
next
not your funny
category?
up. Come on, Curtis.
That was Curtis falling. Curtis, what's the next category?
Random.
Ooh. The book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was made into what highly successful 1982 film?
I don't know.
How do you not know,
Good job,
Curtis?
Curtis.
Come on, give me a guess.
I
Guess a
don't.
movie.
E-movie?
Any movie, Curtis.
Fight Club?
Fight Club. The 1982 classic Fight Club with Brad
Oh, yeah.
Pitt. Damn.
Supposed to talk about it.
I have an equally stupid guess. Smart House. Cape Fear.
Guys, read a book. Read a book.
What is it?
It's Blade Runner.
Of course it is. Blade Runner. We've all seen it. Great movie.
That's what we meant.
Sarcasm.
Okay. Well, what's the next category, Curtis?
Science.
Science!
Ooh. Which organelle is responsible for protein synthesis?
Come on, Curtis.
Organelle?
Have you ever heard of that word, organelle?
I know what an organ is.
Good, Curtis. That doesn't
Okay.
help us with organelle.
No, it doesn't. I'll go with the powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria.
Okay, Drake.
I regret to inform I'm also going to say the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria.
Are you kidding me?
Let's go. Let's go.
It's the ribosome.
The ribosome, of course. That's what they called me in high school.
Okay, Curtis, next category. What is it?
Movies.
Movie.
All right, I'm going to give you the movie quote, and you have to tell me what movie it's from.
Okay.
Guys, this is very easy.
Get busy
If
living
you
or get
build
busy
it,
dying.
they will come.
Curtis?
This is also Fight Club.
Nice. The 1982 classic Fight Club. This stars the voice of the Lion in Lion King. James Earl Jones. Darth Vader also. I don't know why the Lion King came up first in his race of great movies. This is A Field of Dreams.
That is correct.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go. So Curtis, you have 0 points. Drake has 2.
Sounds about right.
What's the next category?
Music.
Ooh.
Music, good.
Here we go. By the way, shout out to Drake for playing Ophelia by the band.
Nice.
Absolute banger.
Yep, no doubt.
So glad he didn't know the weight the other day, though, but we know Ophelia.
Right.
Anyways, born on this day in 1947, this singer's catalog includes Heroes and The Man Who Sold the World.
Yeah, no clue.
Can you just guess?
Fight Club.
That's a
Soundtrack
good bit.
of Fight Club.
That's a really good bit, Curtis. That's a good bit, actually. Man.
1 minute.
Van Morrison.
It's David Bowie, guys. David Bowie sang
David
Heroes.
effing Bowie. Little drummer boy, Bing Crosby, David Bowie. Dead or alive, David
Alrighty.
Bowie. Come on, dead or alive, David Bowie. Say it.
He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah,
He's dead.
No doubt. 2-0.
Died on January 10th, 2016.
Of course he
Well, Drake, dead.
Oh, nice.
Well, Drake,
30.
you won today's game 2-0. 2 out of 5. Ain't bad.
Winners win. 2 out of 5 is actually really bad, but a Hall of Fame in the MLB. Thanks to Curtis Poindexter, who runs the board and plays Are You Smarter Than Drake Toll? Maybe next week, Big Kurt. Maybe next week. Addie Bates produces from Washington, D.C. Fight Club. And Armin Williams, PD, listening from afar. Thanks for making this show your early morning listen. This has been, it always will be, The Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One Sports.